got out of the doctor's appointment, I texted my sisters what they had said. They diagnosed me with premature ovarian failure, and Bailey said, don't worry, one of us will carry a baby for you.
I got to experience such a beautiful thing having my own kids that I would do whatever it took to let her experience that as well.
Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. The greatest gift we've ever received.
We want to extend a huge thank you to Ergo Baby and Frida Mom for bringing this episode of What's Underneath Birth and Postpartum to life.
Stay tuned till the end of the episode to learn more about our incredible partners and the special offers they have for you.
What are assumptions that people made about you while you were pregnant?
People always assumed that I would want August back and that I would resent her for taking him, which she never took him. That was never even a thought. And it's like, no, that's not how this works. I didn't just get pregnant and decide that I was giving him to her. This was a long thought out process, and people can make assumptions all they want.
I think the one thing, people are like, oh, you just had a baby, you look so great. I get frustrated when people talk about how like amazing the woman's body is and we should love it because we can make a human, we can like birth a child, we can do all of these things because my body can't do that. But that doesn't really take away from the fact of like how beautiful my body is. And I always knew I want to be a mother. I've never had a period ever, my whole life, never. I have been an athlete my whole life. And then I got to college and our team doctor was doing physicals. He's like, what was the date of your last menstrual cycle? And I was like, oh, I don't have one, but it's no big deal. He was like, you're in college, like this is something that we should worry about. That basically started this 1.5 year long snowball of trying to figure out what was wrong. They diagnosed me with premature ovarian failure, which basically means we don't know why your ovaries don't work, but we know that you can't get pregnant. So I got out of the doctor's appointment and I texted my sisters what they had said. And they were all like, I'm so sorry. And Bailey said, don't worry, one of us will carry a baby for you. Bailey. At the time at 19, I was like, okay.
I got to experience such a beautiful thing having my own kids that I would do whatever it took to let her experience that as well. We ended up getting pregnant with our 4th baby and had a miscarriage. That was like hard to be excited and then it be gone. I was like, so let me refocus my energy into her.
Bailey was like, hey, me and my husband want to have one more, but we think it'd be good timing to have yours first. And I was like, I don't want you to feel like you have to. Is your husband okay with this? Obviously it's her choice, but like, is he on board? And they both came back with the sounding, we want to do this for you. So me and Tyler were like, okay. We knew that she'd also be our egg donor. She was abstinent.
That's always like one of the number one questions. People are like, so did you and your husband have sex? And I'm like, no. That's the only way to 100% know. So we used, it's called the Mosey baby syringe, kind of like the turkey baster method.
My husband got the sample and he just left it in a room. And then Bailey went in there and she texted me and she was like, okay, I did it.
And I had been tracking ovulation and that's how I would let her know. I'd like send her a text like, hey, I got like a solid smiley face, like it's time.
So we just be like, okay.
We inseminated every day and we got pregnant the first time.
And I was like, oh my God, are you serious? Like I was very shocked. We went into our first ultrasound.
We're almost 7 weeks.
Our doctor kept asking questions about the date of conception. He basically was like, the baby should be much further along and you're probably gonna miscarry in the next like 3 days. I went from, I'm gonna have a baby in March to, is she gonna wanna do this again? How could I ask her to do this? It went from, I'm gonna be a mom in 8 months to years. Like if she decided that she didn't wanna do this, which is totally fine.
There's a lot of emotions.
Yeah.
What if this happens again? I don't think I can do it again. Like, I don't know if I can do this
like
loss after loss after
loss.
if this continues. I don't know. But then on the flip side, then I'm thinking about her feelings and I'm like, Shirley's received news that like, you can't have a baby. And one time I'm like, sorry, I can't do it for you either. And I was like, I won't be able to look her in the eyes again. Because even though it's not my child, it's like I'm letting, it's like so, there's so many things involved. Just feeling like I let him down, like my body let him down and just like it let me down. And I was so just devastated.
Our doctor was like, you did everything right, just do exactly what you just did again. And you can try, like soon. So we took a day. She was like, I just want you to know that whenever you're ready, I'm ready to go. Just being like, we're gonna do this. Like, we're not taking no for an answer.
And we did the exact same thing. And then we got pregnant again
She said, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. And she texted me a photo of the pregnancy test, and she's like, I think we did it again. And I was like, oh my God. We announced on Christmas Day, and the caption was, the greatest gift we have ever received.
What would you say each of your biggest struggles or insecurity was like throughout the rest of that journey?
For me, it was if I was doing enough for her, that she didn't feel like used or like taken advantage of. I would watch her kids a lot and making sure that she felt thought of.
Mine was making sure that she knew that I knew that she was his mom, and that I was telling everybody and my children, and that I was talking to him and letting him know, like, she's your mom. Just trying to make sure that she knew that I knew. I think there's always a fear of like, what if she's like, I can't do this, or he's mine, or you know what I mean? Like, not, because legally he is.
No matter what she signed before, which we did, her rights couldn't have been changed until after he was here. There was never a doubt in my mind.
Right.
My confidence in her was 100%. But I was very cognizant of her feelings.
Mm-hmm. Our midwife just put it plain and simple. You might feel these things and you need to know that. And it's okay. And I was like, wow.
She was like, Bailey, you might have these emotional ties. Emily, you might not have any.
To have a person who is non-biased be able to be like, it's okay to feel these things, was like such a breath of fresh air. And I was like, okay. So I allowed myself to be like, this could be a possibility. Mm-hmm. And then he came out, and it wasn't like that.
It was like magic.
It was literally like perfect.
We're gonna have home birth for like the majority of the pregnancy. And then at 34 weeks, Bailey calls me, and it isn't really making a lot of sense. We went to the emergency room. She was having like a preeclamptic episode.
High blood pressure.
Super high blood pressure. And then she went on bed rest. She was on bed rest from 34 weeks to 38.
It was hard. I mean, truthfully
Very out of
speaking.
control feeling.
Yeah, I just felt like I had so much control over the whole pregnancy, emotion-wise. I was like feeling like I was just snowballing.
We had to cancel the home birth and do doctor, so we ended up going back to our same doctor. It brought a lot of stress with the legalities and like if they were gonna allow me to be in the room. So she was induced at 38 weeks, and Bailey got to the hospital. She got there a little bit earlier than I did.
I was like, I understand the situation here. I was like, but this is two different families. It's like, I need my husband there to support me because I don't know what I'm gonna go through. And I need my sister and her to have her support system as well to be there. That would be very nice if you could do that. And the lady kind of like looked at me and she was like, okay, I'll see what we can do. And then they never changed it, so.
Amazing.
Wow,
Yeah.
got lucky.
We did.
And what was the moment like when like the baby arrived?
We were definitely very considerate of each other.
We both like put our
Who touched,
like who gets to like hold him. We're like holding hands, sobbing, and then they put him out. We like looked at each other.
Just like smiling, like, oh my God.
She was like, oh my God, he looks exactly like Tyler. Spitting an image of my husband.
And he looked just like her
Twins.
husband, which honestly, in a weird way, made it easier for me.
Yeah.
Instead of him looking like my kids, he looked just like her husband. And I was like, wow, my husband was with me, which he's like he's my person. And
He's just beaming at her.
he was so sweet. He was like, I'm so proud of you.
I had a gown on, and I got to hold him.
She looked like a natural. I was like, wow, you're a mom. Oh my God, like you're a mom. And I was like, wow, that was so worth it. It's like all of those things that people said, all of the projection, all of the stress thoughts, like it was worth it. And then to see her husband too, like who was like so proud of her, like looking at her, and he was just like, wow. And he had tears in his eyes, and it was just like, it was honestly magical. Like it was a magical moment.
When have you felt the most vulnerable in the postpartum experience?
The most vulnerable in the whole journey was after we had August, the hospital didn't accept some of the legal paperwork that we had. And so they took my husband and August, my baby, into Bailey's room
With my husband.
and told me I can't go in there, and made them watch a video, basically like guilt tripping.
It's standard practice for moms giving their baby up for adoption. It's for you to understand the ramifications, and that once you sign these papers and what you cannot go back.
Which had already been signed prior.
It was insensitive for her. It was insensitive for my spouse, who was like, we already did this. Like I shouldn't.
And like her spouse being like, I have no part in this.
such a very bizarre thing.
Bureaucracy hospital.
When we were leaving, which was an emotional thing inside of itself because, and it was just, such a bizarre feeling having a baby and then just leaving. Both of the nurses at different times were like, so your baby's in the NICU? You shouldn't say that, because what if someone just like gave their child up for adoption? Like you gotta be a little bit.
Lost the baby.
Or lost the
like,
baby,
there's so many different layers of.
And I was like, no. I was like, that's not what's going on. And I was like, I just had a baby for my sister. It was the moment where I felt like I had my shit together. I was like, my emotions are together. I'm doing good. And she says this to me, and my poor husband, he just saw the look on my face, and I just started sobbing. And it wasn't because of like heartbreak or devastation. It was just like, I'm postpartum. Like, I'm emotional as it is. And it was like, then just for her to be like, hey, like, where's your baby? And I'm like, he's not my baby.
Has your body changed in specific ways since having August?
Yeah, like usually it's like I don't have as much loose skin as I do this time. And it was a little bit hard to see, I got pregnant and had that first miscarriage, got pregnant again, had another miscarriage, and then got pregnant again. And so not being able to sometimes keep up with my kids and hurting, or like not being able to chase them, can be really hard. I've been trying to give myself some time. Like, it's not this like idea of like you have to bounce back right away. Just reminding myself that it's okay.
As far as like the infertility goes, I think the hardest thing I go through now is just like the frustration of I would love another, but no matter whatever avenue I go down, it's never gonna be easy. I always just still imagine what it would be like if I was pregnant, or like even the stress that I wore today. I was like, that would look so cute if I had a bump or something like that. And I don't think that's ever just like gonna go away. It's like the immense joy of being a mom with some things that still like linger.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he is so beautiful. When is the other one the most beautiful to the other?
I don't really think that there's a moment that surpasses when she birthed my child. Like, I don't think that there's a moment that will ever like just pass that, but just seeing how much she loves him is just like, wow. I have a sister that carried my child and like loves my kid that much.
Mm-hmm. And it goes the other way, where it's like, I've always thought she was beautiful, clearly. She's my sister. But just seeing her go into that role was just like, wow. When you just become a mom, people are like, you have that glow. Like, you're taking care of a human, and she owns it, and she's beautiful. It's just like so special to see.
What has been the biggest gift August has given you?
Being his mom has been the best thing that's ever happened to me. It's just so fulfilling, more than I ever could even imagine. Like, meeting his needs, I just can't even describe it.
There's a lot of things surrounding it, but there's like years and years like prior to this of like childhood trauma. I'm a sexual assault victim. After I had him, I just had this immense like feeling of like power that I never had. Through years of struggling, of like feeling powerless and like that I was being silenced, I got the opportunity to confront the man who abused me. It was the first time I got to look this man in the eyes after years of abuse and tell him what he did to me, and made him listen to me. And I got to say everything I wanted to say. And in that moment, it was like this life-changing, altering moment for me, where from having him, I felt this power, then led to this situation, which gave me even more power. It just was the most healing moment ever. My husband, he told me one day, he's like, you walked into the house afterwards. He said, you walked into the house and you were a new woman. He was like, you looked like you were so confident, so proud. And that's one of the things that's really helped me to like every day remind myself of like what I've done, who I am, that I'm bigger than this, like this body right here, that I'm bigger than this, and that I need to be proud of myself. All of those things, it's like really helped me heal. Never imagined when I told her at 19 that having her child would be the life-altering moment I needed.
Playing together for 1 second. Sorry.
No, it's good. We're good.
Having a front row seat to see like all the growth that she's done over the past year has been so crazy and so like inspiring. You took the situation and like your whole life is different. and like having the support of her to like create a human life for me, knowing that there's someone who loves me like that much to do that for me is like, I can't even like wrap my brain around that.
That was incredibly beautiful, and thank you so much. That was unbelievably beautiful, and I wish we could go on for 10 more hours.
Thank you to our partners, Ergo Baby and Freedom Mom, for supporting us in showing the beauty of radically honest birth, pregnancy, and postpartum stories. Ergo Baby is a company that's supporting your growing family through every step of the parenthood journey. What did you use to carry me when I was a baby?
I'd have to wrap you really tight in a blanket or somehow put you inside of a shirt. I would have loved to have had something like Ergo Baby's baby carrier.
Ergo Baby's newborn carrier, the Ergo Baby Embrace, is now available in soft air mesh. Soft, cool, and comfortable, it's the sweetest way to stay connected from the start. Freedom Mom is a company dedicated to demystifying the raw realities of motherhood and prepping moms with the tools they need to tackle pregnancy, postpartum, and breastfeeding. Freedom Mom is rewriting the narrative that talking about your postpartum experience is taboo and is supporting moms around the world to feel empowered in their motherhood journey.
New mothers deserve to have access to solutions, tools, and information to get the most out of their postpartum experience.
Freedom Mom is now introducing the Pregnancy Support Line with pain point targeted solutions to help expectant mothers tackle their physical discomfort from day to night. Make sure to check out your Target Circle for some money off of Freedom Mom's newest pregnancy and C-section line.
On your next Ergo Baby purchase, use code StyleLikeU15 for 15% off today. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of What's Underneath with Bailey and Emily and August.
For more interviews like these,
Subscribe to Style Like You.
And head to our Patreon if you want to hear more of Emily and Bailey's incredible story.
3.